But now black people coming up with MS. See, how is your child suffering from autism? All of a sudden he can't breathe. He got asthma. Where did that come from? Now you send your child to school and they tell you your child has a learning attention deficit disorder. He's hyperactive. He's hyperactive because they don't know how to reach him. So they tell you, give your child Ritalin. This is all part of the conspiracy. Stroke. Even young black men, 10 years old, having strokes. Diabetes. Did you know that through depleted uranium, one of the side effects of that is autism and diabetes? Let's go on. So they use all our hungers to herd us like sheep in a direction that will kill us. So we have HIV, AIDS, chronic lower respiratory disease, septicemia, nephritis, nephrotic syndrome, and nephrosis. And if you look at all the health areas, we're leading in death. So the enemy is killing us, but he's doing it scientifically. You're killing us, but you're doing it like they used to do in the Wild West. We'll have a shootout today. Meet me at noon on 63rd and Cottage. Come on. So, but that got us looking at each other when the real killing is going on at a very, very high level. And the scripture says, if God had not shortened those days for his elect's sake, no soul would be left alive. That's how dark it's going to get. The next type of war is urban conflict. And what they're doing in Baghdad right now, they're going to do this in the inner cities. Kick in your doors, well armed, looking for weapons, even if it's legal. Brother, this is the mayor of our city, and Harvey, and we have many black officers, members of the FBI, black men in positions of authority that are legally qualified to carry firearms. But let me tell you what's about to go down. And the law, look, in a stealth maneuver, President Bush, last October 17th, signed into law that which would make it easy for him to declare federal martial law. And he did this by revising the Insurrection Act, which is a set of laws that limits the president's ability to deploy troops within the United States. All law enforcement inside the states must be by police, sheriffs, National Guard. But when federal troops come in, that violates the posse comitatus law. Now, President Bush seized this power under executive orders and by signing into law on October 17th, 2006, a law that states if there is any major public emergency, the president may employ the armed forces, including the National Guard, in federal service to restore public order and enforce the laws of the United States when, as a result of a natural disaster, epidemic, or other serious public health emergency, terrorist attack or incident, or any other condition in any state or possession of the United States, if the president determines that domestic violence has occurred to such an extent that the constituted authorities of the state or possession are incapable in maintaining public order, then in order to suppress the disorder in any state, any insurrection, domestic violence, unlawful combination, or conspiracy, the president can declare martial law, suspend the Constitution, and this is what's about to go down. I want to read you the executive orders that the president has signed into law, not only this president, but also President Carter, Bush, and others. Let me find it. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Here they are. Now look at what powers that this man has. Executive Order 10999. They can seize, it's a federal seizure of all means of transportation, including cars, trucks, or vehicles of any kind, and total control over all highways, seaports, and waterways, which means in an emergency, your car, your truck don't belong to you anymore. The government can seize your car and say they need it. Now watch. Executive Order 11,000. Federal seizure of American people for workforces under federal supervision, including the splitting up of families if the government so desires, which means that if such a thing happens, they can pull us all in and put us to work on whatever project the government says. You have no authority to resist. To resist is death. Watch. Executive Order 11,001. Federal seizure of all health, education, and welfare facilities, both public and private. Executive Order 11,002 empowers the Postmaster General to register every single person in the United States. Register you. No more draft. We're just taking you now. Executive Order 11,003, federal seizure of all airports and aircraft. Executive Order 11,004, federal seizure of all housing and finances. Did you hear that? That the government would take your house, take your money. Your bank account is not yours. What you thought you had hidden in a safe deposit box is not yours. What you buried in the backyard is not yours. They have authority to enforce relocation. Meaning if they think you need to be relocated like they did the Native Americans on that long march, they just do it. They can establish new locations for population, relocate communities, and build new housing with public funds. Seize all railroads, inland waterways, and storage facilities. And if you resist forced vaccinations, they can force you to take a needle and use the armed forces. Now, what you're seeing is the development of a police state. So the next coming months and years are going to be difficult.